Coming up on AC 24/7, more developments out of Indiana after smoke plume from a recycling plant fire may or may not be toxic. Plus, the DOJ is asking the courts to pause a ruling that could jeopardize some Obamacare mandates, what that means, and what's next. And the Advocate Channel's Rachel Smith chats with one of the stars of the new Apple TV miniseries, The Last Thing He Told Me. Hey there, welcome to another edition of AC 24/7. I'm Lamar Baldwin. Air monitoring is underway at the site of a toxic recycling plant fire in Indiana. At least 2,000 people have been evacuated in a half-mile radius of the blaze. Flames broke out on Tuesday and local fire officials expect it could burn for days. The Advocate Channel's Laura Aguirre brings us the latest and who city officials are blaming for the fire.
This fire is going to burn for a few days.
Burning recycling materials like plastic, causing a massive plume over Richmond, Indiana. A plume so large it was seen from space by this NOAA satellite. And it's one the state fire marshal calls definitely toxic.
These are very fine particles, and if they're breathed in, can cause all kinds of respiratory problems. Burning of the eyes, tightening of the chest, it could aggravate asthma, could cause bronchitis and all kinds of things.
We've also activated our air monitoring assets as well to be sure that we understand what those air quality implications are.
While the exact cause is under investigation, city leaders place the blame squarely on the recycling plant's owner.
This business owner had previously been cited by our Unsafe Building Commission and given an order to clean up the property. That order was ignored.
The mayor says they took that unsafe building order to court, where it was upheld. And they say there's been several attempts to force the plant's owner to clean up the property.
This person has been negligent and irresponsible, and it's led to putting a lot of people in danger today.
Those same people now waiting for word on if it's safe to breathe easy in their neighborhoods.
We've been on site since the beginning, and we're going to stay there until we can assure that this community is not seeing any threats from the air quality implications here.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
The EPA wants to tighten up restrictions on emission standards for our cars and trucks. The proposed changes will require 2/3 of all passenger vehicles sold in the U.S. to be electric by 2032. With fewer gas-powered cars on the road, it could cut planet warming pollution from cars in half. Transportation accounts for nearly 30% of all greenhouse gas emission in the U.S. But Americans might not be buying. According to a Gallup poll, only 4% of Americans own an electric vehicle, and 41% say they would not buy an EV. And 60% of those surveyed believe EVs help the environment only a little or not at all. Memphis commissioners are sending Justin Pearson back to the Republican-led House in Tennessee. He's the second of 2 black Democrats expelled from the House over gun control protests on the House floor. It only took a few minutes for the Shelby County Board of Commissioners to vote to restore Jones back in office. Pearson and Justin Jones were both expelled last week. Jones was reinstated on Monday. There have been far fewer abortions performed in the United States since the Dobbs decision. That's according to the nonprofit group, the Society of Family Planning. The group recorded 32,000 fewer legal abortions were performed since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year. The 13 states that enacted bans saw the biggest drops, some by more than 95%. On the other side, abortions rose in states where the procedure remains legal. Abortions performed by medication also spiked, with the amount of pills prescribed via telehealth doubling in 6 months. Abortion performed outside of the traditional healthcare system were not included in the data. The Department of Justice may cause a ruling that jeopardizes some Obamacare mandates. A federal judge recently said the government could not enforce the Affordable Care Act's preventive care mandates. The mandates require insurers to provide no-cost coverage for certain services like cancer, heart, and STD screenings, as well as anti-tobacco programs. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommended that these treatments be covered by Obamacare, but a judge ruled it violates the Constitution's Appointments Clause. The Justice Department has not yet filed its motion to pause the judge's decision. Apple TV has a new miniseries, and it's based off the novel written by Laura Dave, and the Advocate Channel's Rachel Smith got to talk to one of the stars of the series, Aisha Tyler.
You okay? I can't believe this is happening.
Your husband is not who you think he is.
Why are you making him sound like some sort of criminal mastermind?
I may not know why your father did what he did, but I know who he is.
He lied to me, and then he disappeared, and I want to know the truth.
Rachel Smith from Las Vegas. How are you?
Good, Rachel. How are you?
Good. Have you been to our city lately?
Yeah. I was actually just in Vegas a few weeks ago for a birthday party and to see Magic Mike live, which was awesome. So, yes, and I came back in utter tatters, so I won't be back for a while.
That is a good show, isn't it?
It was an unbelievably good show. The boys in that show are incredible dancers. It was a blast.
And it's even a little bit female empowerment, which people don't expect, right? I like that part.
Yeah, it's got a great story to it. Like, it's so fun and funny. The dancing's extraordinary. I was really impressed. Yeah.
Well, thank you. They'll welcome you back anytime for sure. And by the way, thank you so much. I love thrillers. This just unfolds like an onion, but I have to imagine it doesn't require too much method acting to play Jennifer Garner's best friend, right?
Oh, no, that's a very easy role to play. She is a delight. I mean, I think America already feels like they're her best friend, right? And she's just as warm and welcoming and fantastic to be around as she seems. It was a very easy role to fall into. And we both laughed about that we're like, oh my God, like we became best friends right away. It was just so wonderful.
Hannah and her stepdaughter are in imminent danger.
Is there something you're not telling me?
They need to stay together.
Now, I want to ask you a very divisive, controversial, contentious question.
Uh-oh.
With a series like this, what is the best way to experience? Do you read the book first?
Ooh.
Or watch the series first?
Oh, okay. So this is a conversation I have with my mom all the time because she will not watch a movie or a series if she has not read the book first. I sometimes feel like watching the show and then going back and reading the book gives you like a double experience, because when you read the book, then you're like, well, this isn't how I envisioned it. But once you've seen the show, then you can go back and add new layers into it. So I don't mind watching a series before I read the book. I feel like it gives you 2 bites at the apple.
Also, being a journalist, I love that your character works with the San Francisco Chronicle, in this investigative wing. If you were to look into this crime or be assigned a task to do interviews for this series, what would be the question you would want to ask first?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think you see Jules ask and answer those questions on the show, which is, listen, I know that it feels this way to you, but let me tell you what I'm seeing. Let me tell you the picture that this evidence is painting for you. And I love that Jules loves Hannah enough to tell her the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. We all have that best friend who's like, no, honey, it's going to be great. Jules is like, listen, this is not looking good. I gotta be honest with you. I love you enough to tell it to you straight. And we all want a friend like that. We all want a girlfriend who's gonna love us enough to give us the bad news and give it to us straight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, the Game of Thrones guy is cute, but he's shady.
Exactly. I mean, this just does not look good on paper, baby. Does not look good.
Miami Beach Pride is going bigger and better than ever before for their free 15-year anniversary festival. Join thousands of LGBTQ plus attendees, friends, family, and allies of the community to celebrate in the true spirit of Pride, April 15th and 16th in Loomis Park. Thank you for joining us for another edition of AC 24/7. For more content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Lamar Baldwin.